Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a very interesting story of a guy named Walter Carr. Walter Carr is a 20-year-old. There was a challenge he faced and he took an action and it completely changed his life. So let's get to it. In case if you're new to my channel, I usually share information about entrepreneurship, investment, wellness, and happiness. If you didn't subscribe yet, please do so now. As always, click the like button. It helps our channel grow. Let's get to the story. So the story about Walter Carr, when I saw it a while back, it really touched me. And today, I feel like it might be a good story to share. And there's a lot we can learn from Walter. Walter Carr is a 20-year-old who'd been laid off from his old job and had been struggling to find a new job. And with his mom, they've been going through some financial. And with that, Walter had an opportunity and finally he got a job offering. And the job was to become a mover. And he got hired on, and they told him that to be at the job site early in the morning, and the location they were going to work on the next day was about 20 miles away from his house. And the job was to move a family from one house to another property. So there was a moving company. Once they hired him, Walter was very excited because this was going to change his life and also his mom's situation. So as Walter drove back from the job interview to his house, his car started giving him a problem. And that night he found out the car is done. He cannot use that car. And the next morning, Walter was supposed to be at this new job, and he was supposed to report on the address he was given that they were going to move this family. That house is over 20 miles away from his address. While Walter was contemplating if he should call his boss and let him know that he can't make it, or he thought about it and he decided to make a decision and he took an action. And the action was this. Once Walter plugged in the address from his house to the location he was supposed to be is over 20 miles, and it was going to take him 7 hours on foot. Yes, 7 hours on foot. So Walter decided to go bed early, and he put the alarm to start hitting the road at midnight because he figured he might be a little bit tired, so he wants to get there a little bit earlier than 8 o'clock. So he wanted to give himself a little bit of time. So at midnight, he started walking because he was supposed to report at that address at 8 a.m. Imagine that. 7 hours walking, and he decided to get up at midnight and hit the road. As a young man, Walter was walking at night, and he was having a hard time because after 10 miles or so walking, his legs was really burning and he was having all kind of aches. But he was driven to get to the job to prove himself that he can do it. And once he gets his first check, maybe he will fix his car. That's what he was thinking. So as he was walking at nighttime, it was dark, and just keep on walking. And there was a police cruiser was wondering why this guy was walking at night on just an open road. And they keep an eye on him. Then one officer decided to pull up and ask him what the young man was doing. And Walter was afraid that if they kept him even 30 minutes questioning, that he was going to be late, and he was afraid. So he explained to the officer his situation. And the officer actually was ecstatic, and he couldn't believe a young man, a 20-year-old, so dedicated, and that he was willing to walk 20 miles for 7 hours to get to his new job. And he couldn't believe it, so he called one of his buddies the officer decided to take an action, and he picked him up, and he was so happy that this young man has this kind of drive. The officer took him out for breakfast, bought him a breakfast. Once they had a breakfast, he decided to drop him off. The buddy of the other officer picked him up, and he took him to the address. Walter was a couple hours earlier than his appointment, so they got there about 6 a.m. to that house. So the officer decided he didn't want to just leave him by the house because he didn't want the neighborhood people questioning why this young man was just standing around or sitting around waiting. So he decided to knock the door and let the family know that this young man was walking towards their house because this was his first day at this moving company and he didn't want it to be late. The lady could not believe it. She's a mom and she have a young kids, and she could not believe it. She was to the point she was about tearing up, and she told Walter, please come on in, and she wanted him to go upstairs and take a little bit of nap before the rest of the crew gets there at 8 o'clock so they can start. But Walter argued with the lady. No, he's not gonna sleep. He was gonna just start working and start packing for her before. Then finally there was a lot of convincing, so Walter took a little bit of rest. Then after that, she made sure to let the manager know, and everybody was really amazed how great this young man and how dedicated he is. So when the CEO of that moving company, when they found out, he decided to drive all the way to Alabama and hand him his own personal car to Walter as a gratitude, and how a young man dedicated like that deserves everything it needs for his job to be accomplished. And the family who was going to move was so touched by the story, she decided to start a GoFundMe account for Walter to get his car fixed. And the goal was to raise only $2,000, but it ended up raising over $90,000. And Walter gifted over $25,000. The story, and this time when we are dealing with so many situations when everybody is going against each other and a lot of complaining, a lot of fighting, a lot of issues, at the end, if we think about and do the right thing, and also if we push when we face even the challenging in life, there's always a positive story comes with it. Take care. This is Simon again. As always, if you didn't subscribe yet, please do so now. And also, please click, share, and like, and also comment. It will help the channel grow. Thank you again. Catch you on the next video.